Hi there, Dolly friends. I know I told you I was going to work on the light for the parlor this week, and I did, and I will show you, but I have just been overly excited and obsessed with my infirmary, and I've just been bending things and gluing things and experimenting. I cleaned out the downstairs of the doll's house and I'm preparing for the infirmary. A while ago, I showed you a haul I got from Minimum World and I bought this embossed subway tile paper there. I just want to show you the things I've been making and show you how I've done them. I'm just winging it as usual. The table, it's just a Dollar Tree table that I just pulled the knobs off. I don't even know why I pulled the knobs off because I'm just going to display it the other way. And I painted it with some green paint that I have, and I mixed it with a white metallic paint, just a little bit. And I just added some black to give it a little bit of an enamel look. It's okay. I might, they're just little Dollar Tree finds. I might experiment a little more and see what I can do, but it makes a good table to put things on. And as you can see, I'm using the table I made. I still like to redo the bottom here so I could get something to make it a little straighter, but once you start putting things on it, you don't notice those imperfections as much. I've been having so much fun seeing what I can do, and I will just show you what I've been doing. I forgot to tell you about my basins. The little basin I made, I made that one last time. I made out of air dry clay, and I realized that the little black band on it is much too thick, so maybe I'll try to do another one. I just rolled it out. I don't know how to work with clay. I'm intimidated by Fimo. That's about the extent of my clay skills. But I made a little bowl. I just formed it around a marble and then sanded it. And I also did this emesis basin. And let me tell you, that was very challenging, very challenging. But I think it looks like an emesis basin, don't you? At any rate, I'm just too excited and I want to show you the things that I have been crafting this week in addition to the light. Well, here's poor Juanita, who ended up in the infirmary before it was even complete, and she can attest to the need for first aid in a doll's house. She was standing on the table with Gertrude, and she's not used to it like Gertrude is, and off she went and sprained her ankle, but she's going to be okay. Nothing says you're sick or injured and in a clinic or hospital like a syringe, so I wanted to make that a priority. And yes, these are not to scale exactly. I'll work on that, but I don't want them too small so that you can't really see them. It gives a better effect, I think, if you can really see them a little bit. This was the first one I made, and all I did was use a T-pin, and I had some tubing from when I was nursing my sick cat. He was at home, and I actually was giving him fluids under his skin, so I had IV fluid and tubing, and I just clipped off a piece of the smallest gauge of that and just put some little black lines on there to indicate measurements, and add a little foil stopper and some glue, and I made the little syringe. And then I made another one. This one I was attempting to add a little bit of detail toward the top. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with those, and I am sure that I will make some more. You saw the first little forceps or clamps that I made, and now you can see these. My son had some wire that he was using to repair his guitar. It's a small gauge. I think I'll have to look it up and I'll insert it here. But all I did was twist 2 pieces of wire. You do have to add a drop of glue in the center when you're done, otherwise it just kind of comes unraveled. And then I used my hemostats to kind of flatten out the edges a little bit. You can add a piece of gauze or cotton ball inside if you want. You can glue it there or fold it up. That's kind of the fun part, to decide how you want to do it. So I made those, and then I just started bending wire and making all kinds of different random things. These have a piece of cotton on them. Yeah, it's just some wire getting twisted. And you can experiment. And I think the more I do, I'll get better, hopefully. But I really wanted some ring forceps, which are used in the operating room for various things. They're kind of longer at the top end with little rings on them for grasping things. So I really wanted those because they reminded me of my job. We use them frequently for different things, and I'm very happy with the way my ring forceps turned out. What do you think? It's kind of fun. I'm into it. I'm into this. I just had a little piece of wire and I just put it in some tubing with a hook. There's different kinds of suction and things that look like this in a hospital. Oops, I have this on backwards. So it could be something like that. But I went online and I was looking at old medical instruments, and I kept seeing these little, I think they're called lorgnettes, like little, almost like little opera glasses. And it just so happened the very first ones I tried, so I just tried bending them out of one piece of wire. So I started on this end and went around and again, and I feel like these first ones that I made actually turned out pretty well. And I feel like they were just the right size. I put them near one of my dolls and they looked perfect. But they look nice just kind of lying down. Maybe on a desk they would look good. So I made one more pair. This pair came out okay too. It's just a little bit larger. I'm happy with those. I know, I'm just having too much fun. And then I thought, well, I need to have some ice packs. Now my ice packs are a little bit messy. So I'll show you here, I'll insert some photos. I have like this old piece of quilt that was never finished. It's just a small piece. Someone gave this to me, but you can find these online very inexpensive, and it's a good way to kind of get a variety of fabrics from a certain era, or just designs that you might like, colors that you might like. You can get a lot of different ones that you can use in your dolls' houses and minis. What I really wanted was the plaid piece, which I'm showing you. And it ended up a little small, and it was fraying a lot, so I just gave it to Juanita, who's very petite. I just cut a circle and stitched around the edges, and then cinched it up, and it seems like that should be very easy, but it was not very easy for me. And I did buy a little bin of these little bead ends, or I don't even know what they're called. What are they called, jewelry makers? And I tried to stitch, I tried to stitch a little red cross on them so that the dolls would know these are the ones they use for the infirmary. When I think I just used a red pen because I was not wanting to stitch. It actually looks better than the other ones. I thought 3 would be good to have in the cabinet in the infirmary, or anyone who has a headache or an ankle ache. or anything like that. I wanted a little tray to put on here. I just had a piece of plastic that already had these kind of raised edges. I wished it would have had an additional raised edge, but it didn't, and I was trying to add one and I wasn't doing very well. So I just left it like this and I just covered it in foil. You don't need the bottom. And then I just used that. Oops. Let's go back to the parlor and I'll show you my wet read on the light. A wet read is an old school term for a preliminary look at an x-ray when the film was still wet. In other words, it's incomplete and not yet final. So I took out that medallion and pulled it all apart and realized that this might be more challenging than it seemed. I had to decide how long I wanted each length of chain and then count it out, which was really tedious and mathematical, which is against my nature. I had to make sure there was a link open at the top and bottom of each length of 7, which was the number I had decided on. One to attach to the lamp itself and one to attach to the tray. I tried attaching it to the lamp about 3 or 4 times before I realized there was a better way, which was to just take out the center that I needed to attach it to. That was much easier. By much easier, I mean it was a tiny bit easier. I realized I was going to need some kind of loop to attach the piece to the tray, and if I had jump rings, that would have been ideal, but I don't. And using the links for the chain would have just been too fiddly. You can see what I did there. So I put it back together with the chain in. Watching me do this whole process would be a lot like watching someone make sausage. It's not something you really want to see. It's better to just enjoy the final product. Here's the rough draft or the wet read. It's not complete. I need to age the whole piece and secure it better to the ceiling. The whole thing needs to be raised about 1 inch or so. I may need to tweak it a little bit and adjust the chains and so forth, but this was basically the look I was going for. I may also need to glue the caps to the actual lights themselves. What do you all think about putting something in it to make it look like light, like yellow tissue or something like that? I don't know. What could I put in there? It's pretty tiny. I don't know that I'd be able to put any battery operated thing in there. I'm pleased so far, and I just hope it doesn't fall on anyone's head, landing them in the infirmary. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you'll leave a comment and let me know if you have any ideas for me or suggestions. There's a lot going on in this doll's house right now, and I'm really excited about all of it. So I hope you will come back and visit me next time in the doll cupboard. Have a great day, everyone.